Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Easton Lee. Welcome back for those of you who have been here before. And today we are going to be going through a little bit of a garden tour. My summer garden is starting to take off and I've begun harvesting. And so I just wanted to share with you some of my success this year. My backyard vegetable garden is the biggest it's ever been. I initially started gardening when my son was in 4th grade. He did a garden project with his class and came home and insisted that we started a garden. So my husband Scott made me one raised bed and I successfully grew probably one vegetable that season. But there was something about like putting a seed in the ground and watching it come up and being able to eat something from the garden that I fell in love with. And so I've kept at it now my son's going into 7th grade now, so a few years. And every year I learn more and more and I try different varieties of vegetables. This is the first year I'm doing corn and pole beans. I've previously in the past always done bush beans, and so I'm having a lot of success with pole beans this year, and I'll probably continue to use this variety from now on. And this is also the first year that I'm doing watermelon. I was inspired by another YouTuber, Shay Elliott from the Elliott Homestead, and her potager garden. And one of her episodes, she was talking about having not just food and vegetables to sustain you and your family, but also plants that are beautiful. So I expanded my front garden this year. We had a small plot that was just, ever since we moved in, we kind of did everything else to the house and this area was left alone. And so this year Scott and I dug everything up and turned the soil and put fresh compost and dirt on top, and I planted bulbs, and I got a few lavender plants and another plant on the clearance, like we're dying section, and put those in there, and it's really taking off. And I can't tell you, like every day that I pull up and come home or leave or go out to garden, I am so happy that I just planted something beautiful to look at. I'm always excited to see food growing, but to see something ornamental is really rewarding to me. So I'm gonna share that with you also. So let's start my garden tour. All right, you guys, would you take a freaking look at this? Look at this little tiny baby. Isn't that the cutest thing you've ever seen in your whole life? It's gonna be a watermelon. There are so many little tiny ones in here. I intended to plant 4 watermelon plants in 2 beds. And it ended up, this bed has 2 plants in it and they are going crazy. They're taking off better than the rest. Some of my zucchini didn't take off in the bed right next to it initially, so I went back and tried to plant more zucchini. I think I planted 1 zucchini and 1 watermelon in the zucchini bed. And it's really interesting because although they were from the same pack of seeds, the watermelon that I planted in the zucchini bed is growing differently. I have not seen any watermelons form on it, and the leaves, instead of looking like this, are looking more like watermelon leaves, but it is vining out. They're looking more like the zucchini leaves instead of the plant looking like this. It's flowering and vining like a watermelon would, but it looks different. So I'm just leaving it as an experiment. If it starts to really take over the bed and not produce anything, and you know, inhibiting the growth of the zucchini, then we'll pull it. They're actually squash, not zucchini. And then I planted 2 more in my other bed, and only one of them took, but I think it's starting to take off as well. So hopefully we have a ton of watermelon. We'll probably, if all of these grow and develop, it looks like we're gonna be sharing a lot this year. So I've never used our back retaining wall for planting before, so this is the first year we're doing that. And I decided up here I needed some height, and I needed some room, so that's why I chose the wall, because I was going to grow the corn up here. And I decided that I was going to get the most out of it. I'm just going to try the 3 sisters, which is corn, beans, and squash together. They're companion plants, and so far they're doing really well. The zucchini has yet to really take off. I have a few growing, and it's interesting because this batch of corn and beans is not doing quite as well as the one next to it. We spread them out a little bit, and so I have not yet figured out if it's the sun or the nitrogen or not enough compost in this one. But that's the joy of gardening. You just test things each year and figure out slowly and surely by process of elimination why things were successful or more successful than others, and you know, why things didn't work out. So it's a process. So because it's summer and it's so hot and we're not getting any rain in Southern California, I am having to like spray down the compost every few days just to keep it from drying out and keep it kind of processing. I have one bed that's newer, then we keep adding to, and then I have another bed that we're letting sit for about a year, and I can't wait to use that homemade compost on this garden next year. So I have my rosemary here, and I have some poppies that are pretty sad, and geraniums. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to move the rosemary to a little more of a shady spot because it's starting to seem pretty dry and we're watering it a lot. So I think I'm gonna move it to the shade today. So here is my front bed. These are my gladiolas taking off. I think I have about 8 of these taking off. They're getting pretty heavy now, so they're starting to lean. Some of them are completely fallen over. So I have some scrap wood that Scott had on the side of the house. I'm gonna try to prop them up. We'll see if it works without me having to go buy stakes, but I do have some clips that I've saved. I also have slowly taking off, it looks like, I'm going to have my dahlias blooming soon, which ball dahlias are my favorite flower, so I have never been successful at having one bloom, and I'm hoping that the bulbs that I purchased this year on sale will take off, because that will be a huge win for me. And then it looks like probably some lilies will be blooming down here as well. And I have my rosemary and some other plant that I don't know what the name of it is.